course, there was debris. There were things on the road. Cars' alarms were ringing.
So now how did you get out from the area?
So basically I walked back and I went to the firefighters. They were maybe about a block and a half, 2 blocks away. It was very slow. I asked them for water. They said, we don't have any water, because I wanted to clean my mouth. So then I walked and I saw a firefighter had opened up the fire truck and was cleaning themselves up because they were also in the same situation. So I went there and just from there, I said, can I have some water? So I took a scoop of water from them, put it in my mouth and cleaned myself up. And so at least my mouth was out of the thing. Then basically I walked and I took a bus. It was very, very traumatic because at that time it was very chaotic. It was very difficult to describe because people were afraid.
But did you know other Muslims who were also survivors from 9/11?
I haven't met a single other Muslim survivor other than myself.
But I know there are, but in the media we've never seen them interviewed. We never heard about their story, recollection of that day.
Unfortunately, they have to come forward. They have to say Muslims are survivors of 9/11, Muslims are victims of 9/11. We are...
Now let me ask you, in your workplace, and now did you reassemble in your same offices?
Well, our building was shut down for almost 3 weeks because we had water damage. Our basement and sub-basement were completely flooded. We had soot damage. The whole building was completely...
Now, what about from your colleagues? Did you feel any change in their attitude towards you after this?
No, I did not feel anything at all. As a matter of fact, I got more sympathy from my colleagues. They said, whatever, for example, one of the things that happened was, I forgot to mention, I was wearing contact lenses and my eyes were completely burnt. I couldn't see. And so when I got home, I asked my wife to help me and we drove to the emergency room, but then we were worried they would be, if the doctors would help us.
Yeah.
So then we called our personal physician.
What do you mean you were worried if the doctors would help you?
Because by that time the media was saying it was the Muslims who had done it, it was the Arabs who had done it.
Yeah.
And so then we became afraid because this is like, by the time I got home, it was like 5 o'clock in the evening. This happened in the morning. By the time I was trying to evacuate myself, it took me like 5-6 hours to get home. And my eyes were hurting, so I knew there was something wrong with my eyes, but I couldn't pinpoint it. So I asked, so then we called a physician. He lived, and he happened to be a Jewish physician. He said, I'm waiting for my wife at such and such train station, and we have closed our offices, but I will make an effort to come back and help you because I know that if you were in that area, you have suffered some injuries.
Yes.
So he came from about 30 miles away, opened up his office and checked me out, and he told me I had complete corneal burn. My eyes were completely burned, my cornea was completely burned, and he gave me eye drops and then he said I have to have surgery for that.
Well, Aziz, I know your story has many more details, but alhamdulillah that Allah, He spared you, and inshallah He use this time to increase your iman and appreciate the life which Allah He's spared for you. So
alhamdulillah.
I'm here with Dr. Hamada Hamid, who's a psychologist, and he's also the editor of the Journal of Muslim Health. Assalamu alaikum. Tell us a bit about the specifics of Muslim psychology and Muslim mental health.
Okay, sure. So this journal is dedicated to Muslim mental health, and it is publishing original research on Muslim mental health. So from various issues from domestic violence to drug abuse to depression, anxiety, the consequences of trauma, the consequences of oppression, discrimination, of war. So our first issue focuses on the impact of 9/11, for instance, on Muslim communities in America. Our second issue is on Iraq.
But let's back up on this issue of the effect on the mental health of Muslims of 9/11. What are you finding? Your findings of the mental health?
We have various findings. One of our publications discusses specifically the impact of the Oklahoma bombing, and